Akhetaten's Gates, Chapter 35. It was a little rough at first, but slowly and unexpectedly, Kia and I grew to become, even if only just barely, friends. Her obnoxious behavior lessened, and I became a little warmer, even matron-like, as this was her first child. As for Akhetaten, she slowly decided to follow my example. When I had made peace, she had no reason to not do the same. As for Akhetaten, he was understandably rather wary about this sudden coziness. He was unable to tell if my decision was genuine or some cruel plot. I suppose I couldn't blame him for not putting it past me. It just seemed odd for the disaster to take such a positive turnaround. But if it brought about peace on the royal household, he wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth for too long. A grand tranquility was beginning to once more descend upon the land of Akhetaten. Finally, the day arrived. It all boiled down to this moment now, didn't it? A heavy hush fell over, it seemed, the entire kingdom. Kia was with part of her entourage and midwives in the birthing room. Unlike with our children, Akhetaten chose not to stand beside her. He followed a more traditional role of king, waiting outside the birthing room, and to my surprise, he seemed less than enthused. He cared enough to be a supporter. Every child born of him was important to him, regardless of the mother. But he wasn't on the balls of his feet with excitement. He had been here many times before. As for the rest of us, the nursemaids were entertaining Akhetaten, as well as Akhetaten Teshret and Akhetaten Teshret. The children were rather uninterested in such a serious event. Akhetaten, however, had joined me in the waiting area with my husband. All that could be done now would be to wait. In due time, Kia let out her final scream, and a baby's cry came to follow. Within moments, a midwife burst from the birthing room, nearly taking Akhetaten out with the door, as he had unwisely paced too close. She held the baby victoriously over her head. "At long last, behold, a prince is born!" "What?" from Akhetaten. "Are you serious?" came a gasp from Akhetaten. "Son?" I glared at Akhetaten. "She has a son? What did you do?" "Nefertiti," he whimpered, "don't be angry. You, in a 13-year reign, have fathered 8 children, all girls. Just by chance of one night with her, and child number 9 is a son? You said you weren't bitter anymore," he whined. "Damn Aten," I spat as Akhetaten chuckled in the background. "Stop yelling at me!" Akhetaten cowered, covering his head as if expecting me to strike him. Kia was in the garden, sitting almost scribe-style on the ground as she rocked with the baby in her arms. I carefully came up behind her, peering over her shoulder at him. She let out a gasp when she noticed me, but then gave a youthful smile. "Isn't he beautiful?" Well, no matter how much I hate the irony, I suppose I can't deny it. He is very cute. I can certainly see Akhetaten in him. But he resembles you most. What is his name?" I tensed. I knew Akhetaten went to her after the birth, feeling it necessary to leave Akhetaten and myself out of the loop. So I had not heard the name that Akhetaten had declared for him. Surely I felt that now, with a son, the name that we had treasured in hopes of bestowing on our son would now rest upon this boy. "Tutnagaten." "Tutnagaten?" She nodded with a bright smile. "Pharaoh says that it means Lord of the manifestations of Aten. I think it's perfect." "Tutnagaten," I whispered. It brought an odd excitement and unease, so familiar, and it would be a lie to deny the heavy feeling it set upon my heart. "Are you bitter at me, Nefertiti?" Kia asked suddenly. "Huh?" "Are you bitter at me? I thought that we were good with one another." "Oh. No, we're good," I replied. "I was just lost in thought. I think it's befitting for a crown prince." "Is he pleased?" "Akhetaten?" "Yes, of course." "I am pleased, and I am saddened," Kia admitted. "You just worry about being a mother." At one time, Akhenaten was a very sheltered prince, and see how he has risen to greatness. I suppose the same could be said of me, and the same for our much-missed Queen T. The two of us were mere commoners who rose to the status of king's great wife and queen of Egypt. Sometimes, fantastic things come from small and unlikely packages. I know that he will not see me again. So, this child is all that I have now. I forced a smile. By the side of one of my princesses, he will be the most renowned pharaoh in all of Egypt's history. She gave me a bashful smile. I don't think she necessarily believed my claim, but it pleased her nevertheless. "You lied!" Merodachton gasped. "Of course I'm bitter," I whined. "I know I shouldn't be, and I am ashamed of myself. I should be happy, but I wanted to be the one to create the next heir, even if only for a while. I've come to the conclusion that you are just a crazy old hen," Akhenaten laughed. Our day was being spent with Merodachton in her palace. The first part of our visit was more for Akhenaten's sake, allowing him to play with his two youngest daughters by his daughter. Now the children were chasing after some cats and a dog, while they were, in turn, being chased by Akhetaten, trying to keep them together while Akhenaten, Merodachton, and I conversed in the shade. "It's unfair," I whined. "What can you do about it?" he shrugged. "I'm pleased. Egypt has an heir, and I can return to being a father and husband. Everybody is important and shall remain so. I've become an evil person." "You've become my mother," he laughed, with Merodachton following him in his mirth. "But do not feel so. Strong and powerful women are a tradition in this family." "Like," I smirked slowly and wickedly, "Hatshepsut?" "Hatshepsut? Mayet Kara? What of her?" "Wait here," I exclaimed, rushing off to return home. Perhaps it took a total of an hour for the round trip, or maybe a little more. But I returned as swiftly as possible, pushing the doors open. "Nefertiti? Mom?" Akhetaten pointed and laughed. "You look funny." Before them I stood, wearing a deep and masculine collar to cover my breasts. I was adorned in a masculine regalia gown and an immaculate kilt that I had borrowed from his wardrobe, tied with a colorful belt. The regal sandals on my feet were a little too big, as Akhenaten wore a larger size than I. I wore a crown on my head. I would have preferred the Nemes crown, but Akhenaten had already claimed it and wore it on his head. So I took the next best thing, the kepresh. I gave him a deep bow. "Good day, my pharaoh." My voice was powerful, yet natural. "What are you doing?" he laughed. "Why are you wearing my clothes? Are you mocking me?" I held out a hand, pulled the false beard from his face, and donned it upon my own. "Do you not know your regent?" "Regent? My dear Nefertiti, who is it that you are trying to be?" I struck the most regal pose that I could muster, straight and strong. "I am Smenkare." "Smenkare?" he gasped in hysterical laughter. He wiped a few tears from his face. "Oh, you're killing me. I cannot breathe through such mirth." "What's wrong with this?" I pouted. "Oh, you look silly, for one thing." "Mother, those clothes are too big for you," Merodachton chimed in. "You never cease to amaze me," Akhenaten stated with a smile. "Is that a no?" I asked. Of course, that brought about another round of wild laughter from the lot of them. Not a member of my family could look upon me without a grand go of merriment. "Are you serious?" "Why not?" He finally started to regain his composure and took a few deep breaths. "I have not laughed that hard in years. For that, I can reward you by humoring your antics. Behold, my regent, King Smenkare. I will see you as my prince and heir. You can learn the role of pharaoh, but I refuse to lose my beloved wife. Behind closed doors, do come to bed with me, as you have always done, as my Nefertiti." "And what of Tutankaten?" I asked. "Dear Nefertiti, Tutankaten is just a newborn infant. I will keep my promise, and he shall be king one day. But until he is of age, that leaves Smenkare to do as he pleases." under me. You are certainly a good sport, my beloved, I smiled. And you are a good player, Smenkare.